Magyar szólások és közmondások angolul beszélőknek.
Hungarian Sayings and Proverbs for English speakers. Bold cats.
Királynak is szemébe néz a macska.
So the first word, király, is a king. Királynak is part of a possessive, but we won't go there for today. Szem is eye or eyes. In Hungarian, szem is both eyes. Because most people have two eyes, the phrase refers to both eyes. If there's only one eye, it is half-eyed, fel szemű. Macska is a cat, neighs, watch, look at, look upon. It depends on the other markers within the sentence. So word by word, king, also, into his eye looks the cat. Yes, well, let's try it more as the cat looks into even the king's eye.
Királynak is szemébe néz a macska.
In Hungarian, this means someone who's not afraid of anyone. So not bold, but fearless. English has a similar saying, a cat may look at a king, but it has quite a different meaning. It's political and dates back to the 17th century. It's about an impertinent remark by an inferior. It basically means, I'm as good as you. So here's my cat and the New Zealand king, King Charles, King of New Zealand and his other realms and territories. That is actually one of his titles. And in case any Hungarians are sneering, New Zealand has had a better record with its constitutional monarchy than Hungary. For additional vocab, let's look at parts of the head. The whole head is fej. We already know eyes, szem. The ear is fül, and as with eyes, fül actually means both ears. Your nose is or. It's a double R, and unlike in English, you actually have to pronounce it. Or. And your mouth is sai. Here, hoi. So parts of the mouth, nyelv is tongue. And as in English, it also means language. But unlike in English, there is no other word in Hungarian for language. If you want to say language, you have to say tongue, nyelv. One tooth is a fog. Several teeth is a fogok. Hungarian doesn't like to put consonants close together. Instead, they like plenty of vowels in the words, which is the reason why it actually sounds quite nice, even if you don't know what it means. This is a back vowel word, so we're using an A as the connecting vowel. Your lip, singular, oyok. Now, unlike ears and eyes, you actually have a plural for lips, and it's oikok. Now, the problem is here, you think, wait a minute, where did that A go? So you've got the connecting vowel AK at the end, but you've actually dropped the A between the J and the K. Hate to say it, it is not that uncommon. So when you learn nouns, you actually have to learn the various forms of the noun. CS. This is a single letter and a single sound in Hungarian. So if you look up the dictionary, there it is, ch. The difference between English ch and Hungarian CS is that CS in Hungarian is a single letter, whereas ch is made up of two letters, even though it's a single sound. Chilog, Tolochko, Ogonch. The other double letter in the sentence is ye. It's a single letter again and a single sound. It's exactly the same as the Hungarian ye. So when you see an ly or a j both cases you pronounce it ye. Doesn't work the other way though. You can't spell any word with the sound ye. It's either a J or ly. Again, it's something you have to learn. So we have it in English as in yet. Goya. It's a stork, a very common bird in Hungary, especially in the countryside. Goyo, which is a ball, or basically anything that is round and small. Even a bullet, and you think, wait a minute, it's not round, but bullets used to be round. So they've just taken the word for the old round shot and used it for a modern bullet. So now we're going to look at the present indicative. What is the present indicative? It's the normal present tense describing something that is happening now. For example, I am talking, he is singing, they are dancing. In English, we actually have several different forms of the present tense, each with a slightly different meaning. So you can say they are dancing, they dance, they do dance. In Hungarian, this is translated with just one word. There is only one form of the present tense in Hungarian within the indirect conjugation. So Hungarian has indirect and direct conjugation. For dancing, obviously, there's only indirect conjugation. All the sayings in Series 1 only use the indirect conjugation, so you can forget that I said anything about the indirect conjugation. Now, this is the dictionary form. In Hungarian, the dictionary form is not the infinitive, as in many language, and this is also the third person present indicative. He talks, she sings, it dances, or in this case, he, she, it looks at or watches. There are other meanings to the word néz, but we won't go into it now. Nézek is I watch, so I is the first person. Hungarian packs a lot of information into a single word. It does this by adding usually suffixes, but occasionally prefixes as well. So when you add ek to a verb, it means I am doing the thing. So nézek, I watch. Whereas nézel is you, singular informal, watch. We're back to néz, he, she, or it watches. Now you might notice along here there is no explicit pronoun needed in Hungarian. So you could say én nézek, but that gives it a slightly different meaning. It means I, myself, nobody else watches. So if you want a neutral form, you don't need to add a pronoun, because all the information is in there packed into the verb. But you say, wait a minute, néz, he, she, it watches. Which one do you mean? Well, I'm afraid you can't tell. There is no gender in Hungarian language. So even if I used a pronoun, it would be which only tells you it's he or she. You do use a different pronoun for it. Probably Oz. Nézünk, we watch. Néztek, you, plural informal, watch. And néznek, they watch. So if you compare now the Hungarian to the English, in English we have watch, watch, watches, watch, watch, watch. Hungarian we have ek, el, nothing, unk, tek, nek. Now you do have to memorize these. This is a regular verb of its type. That is, it's a front vowel verb, so it uses an E for the connecting vowel. And it is also, one little special thing about it is it's a sibilant. So for something like var, it would be varok, vaz. But néz is too hard to say, so you put the EL instead of the S in it. There's one more little trick. Nézlek. It means I watch you. So in Hungarian there is a special verb form that is first person to second person. Okay, so what does this formal or informal mean? In Hungarian, even though you don't express gender, you do express status. So which form of the verb you use when you're talking to a person directly will depend on who you are and who they are. So the informal version is a form that you use with people you know well or close family. Now, during the Russian occupation, this became basically the only form that was officially used because everybody was equal. They are now reverting back to the older style of the language. And you definitely don't want to use the informal version if you have to deal with the bureaucracy. In fact, then you have a whole slightly different language to use, but as a base, you need to use the formal form of the verbs. So if it's nasal, if you're talking to somebody you know well, you use nés for someone you wish to give respect to. To make it clearer, especially in writing, you'll often see that the pronoun is used. So the informal pronoun is te, and the formal pronoun is ön. So if you want to actually say plural you formal, you use nés nek. And again, you can use the pronoun önök nés nek. So it's clear that it's you plural formal watches, not they watch. Second person formal, the verb is exactly the same as the third person. So you don't need to actually learn extra verb forms, you just need to remember when to use it. They actually have verbs for addressing someone in the formal or informal, just as they have in French if you studied French. So tagues, te being you informal, is to address somebody by their first name, informally. Unnös is the opposite, to formally address somebody. There's another formal pronoun which is moga. It uses the same verb forms as in, and I'm not going to go into it much more than that.
Királynak is szemébe néz a macska.
Fearless. So be fearless in your exploration of a magyar nyelv, the Hungarian language.